Hi, George Haas here. What I wanted to talk about today was using metta practice as the concentrating of the mind in a combined way of practicing with Vipassana meditation. So coming to a place where the mind is calm and peaceful, and then shifting into Vipassana practice. In some sense, it's a balancing, so that the metta and Vipassana are always balancing each other. We want to calm the mind and bring it into a concentrated state. Metta is very good for that. From a strictly Vipassana side of practice, you could go with a breath counting, say. My concern really is for people who practice as householders and are doing a daily or multiple time during the week practice. I guess I would be urging you to practice on a daily basis. How do you balance that then? Say Monday, Wednesday, Friday you do concentration and insight, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, say, doing metta practice, having a day off. Sometimes it's useful. Or a more integrated way of practicing, so that you're actually working with metta and Vipassana each time you sit down and practice. So while metta as a concentration practice has its limits, say probably the third jhana, there's always the intention for radiating loving kindness. So to come into the fourth jhana of perfect equanimity isn't something that happens. But it is a great way to concentrate the mind. So beginning your session, let's say you're organizing a 25-minute session as part of your daily practice. Let me turn this off. Organizing the first 10 minutes or so of practice around metta, and then moving into a Vipassana practice might be useful. Coming into the place where you're going to sit, sitting down, settling, maybe a minute or two to really settle in to the posture that you're using, and then beginning a period of metta practice. With the orientation around concentration in metta practice, you're intending to radiate the metta that you're generating to someone. In particular, easier to concentrate the mind if you're focused on one person for the period of sitting, and then generating the phrases continuously as a constant reminder of the practice that you've undertaken. But the object of meditation in a concentrated oriented metta practice is the mind state of metta itself. Is the mind state of metta present or not? So in the beginning, it's this investigation as to what the mind state is, and once you have a good understanding and feel for what the mind state of metta is, then knowing whether it's there or not is pretty easy, straightforward. Always cool, always kind, peaceful, an absence of craving, an absence of aversion. So almost equanimity, except that there's the intention to radiate the metta outward, or the intention to radiate it to yourself, so not a complete quality of equanimity. Practicing metta to concentrate the mind, and then moving into a Vipassana practice. The question then is, how would you organize a Vipassana practice? One way would be to do a practice oriented around the Satipatthana Sutta, the four foundations or four pastures of mindfulness. Then exploring sensing, what is the actual sensing experience without fixating, without it becoming anything, just actually the experience of sensing, seeing with nothing seen and no seer. Then moving into the second foundation, looking at the feeling tone of it. Is it pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral? Is the sensing experience pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral? And then moving into an investigation of the quality of mind. in some sense, using metta as the concentrating practice also acquaints you with this investigation of mind, because the metta mind is something that you know is present or not. In the same way that in a traditional Satipatthana-oriented investigation of the third foundation, you'd be looking at the 8 mind states, present or not. So 16 particular states. Is the mind craving or not craving? Is the mind aversive or not aversive? Is the mind deluded or not deluded? Is the mind restless? Is the mind slothful? Is the mind great or small? Is the mind concentrated or unconcentrated? Is the mind surpassable or unsurpassable? Is the mind liberated or not liberated? Adding to that, the metta mind, is the mind the metta mind state or not? I like to work also with John Bowlby's attachment theory as mind states is the activation of your attachment strategy, a mind state, present or not, the secure mind state, the dismissing mind state, the preoccupying mind state, the fearful avoidant mind state, the unresolved mind state, the dissociative mind state. I think that's pretty good for today. Thanks.